Really hard year. Probably the hardest part is feeling like we're going through kind of a vicarious trauma. These people aren't just people over there, they're our people. They feel like family, and so it's really been challenging.
Welcome back to The Factor. Uncensored. Yeshurun Synagogue here in Houston hosted a vigil tonight, remembering the deadly attack that targeted Israelis a year ago today. Then the U.S. and Israeli governments say Hamas carried out that attack on Israel. The death toll in the conflict is still rising. And tonight, about 100 hostages, including several Americans, are still being held captive. Dr. Dietrich von Biedenfeld from Houston Community College and University of Houston downtown professor Dr. David Branham are here to talk about it. First of all, just a tragedy in all, just looking at it.
It was a big tragedy, and I remember a year ago when it happened, I was right here and I said, this is probably the biggest mistake that Hamas can make, because it's going to be so deadly. With Israel having a leader like Netanyahu who is out for vengeance on anything that happens to his people, you knew the consequences were going to be really bad, and tens of thousands of people have died as a result.
And would you say vengeance rightfully so, or should they look for a solution to deal with this and stop the bloodshed?
You should always try to stop the bloodshed. I mean, that's always a solution. But what happens is when the bloodshed is of your own people, then you start having less thoughts about what can we do to make things right, and more about revenge. And that's a problem. A lot of people in this country think that he's went too far. About 32% of the country say what he's done in Gaza is too far. But there's a big percentage who say that it's even not enough, 20% or so. So the country is a little bit split on this, and so it makes it, politically, it makes it a tough issue.
In the heat of a battle like this, Dr. von Biedenfeld, does it matter what we think in America to Netanyahu there in Israel, or he has his own people to answer to and his own conscience?
100% we know that Israel operates in a centrist authority, not in the way that we typically mean it here, but in the area of there is a central focal group of power. And so when we saw Scheinbein, we think about an anniversary. In 2014, Scheinbein committed murders here, went there, and we were unable to extradite him. So we know with Ariel Sharon, much like Netanyahu, there is an understanding that the United States is scared of Israel. We're all scared of Mossad. We don't know when they're going to pop up in the Oval Office or wherever they need to be with our pager systems, with our cars. And so at the end of the day, it matters that our opinion, because we escalated our aid from $3 billion to $14 billion. Everybody's talking about North Carolina and $8 billion there and $9 billion to Ukraine. We escalated our aid to Israel 5 times that. So when we think about this aid, it matters because we are their predominant ally, but because of their influence in the United States, our influence on their policy is less influential than their influence on ours.
I would absolutely agree. I think that Biden and Harris are having a hard time because they want Netanyahu to take a certain direction. For instance, they want an equal attack in Iran. Netanyahu, that's something that he hears, but he's going to do what he wants to do. So the United States is kind of in a pickle here, because they don't have that much control over Israel, because Israel is very self-sufficient themselves.
All right. And do you see an end to this in the last 10 seconds we have anytime soon?
Not anytime soon. Israel is going to eradicate Hamas. They're going to utilize this threat as an opportunity to eviscerate any enemies, foreign and domestic.
All right. We want to thank you both for joining us here on The Factor. Still